All right, let's close this mouth. Hello, everybody, and welcome to... No, should we do that?
You already felt like you were pretty committed to it. No, something after Christmas. Or like...
Let's burn this tree. No, that's...
That sounds evil.
Too soon, too soon.
End this chapter? It's the end of the year?
Let's burn this book. The book that is 2020. Let's turn the page.
Say the first thing that comes to your head. Ready? Go.
All right, let's melt this snow. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Let's Get Lost podcast. It is December 26th, day after Christmas.
Day after.
Let's go, day after Christmas. How you doing, Danielle?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm tired.
You enjoying this beautiful sunny December day?
Yeah, gotta love the no snow on Christmas.
I know 2020 couldn't even give us Christmas snow. Couldn't even give us a white Christmas.
No, I mean there's a little bit in the shade parts.
Yeah, where all the dogs pee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The frozen pea covered snow.
How was Christmas for you?
It was great.
The whole day?
It definitely did not feel like Christmas. In the slightest.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'd say all around the day was pretty good.
So the day was wonderful, but for me, it definitely took a while to get there. I had a rough morning, but I just kind of... Well, I called Broob. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I called Broob because she happened to message me, and I was there when the message happened, which is crazy. Normally, I don't get messages for days because I don't look at my phone.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It reminds me of a time before cell phones, and we can talk about that later. But she messaged me, and I was like, hey, can I call you real quick? Just because, everyone's got their person that they can go to that just makes them feel better, and Broob is my person. So we Zoom called. I almost started crying immediately, which was like, oh, this is going to be a good call. But she just was so happy. She was so unbelievably happy. And we just talked, and we talked about the past, the future, and just love. And it was great. It was absolutely wonderful to reconnect. And, by then, I was feeling a lot better. So the day definitely got brighter. And once we got into that Christmas spirit, went inside, we started cooking, we were listening to Christmas music, we had a Christmas story playing. That's when it got amazing for me.
Yeah.
And from that point on, literally until I went to bed at 3 a.m., it was a great Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, I had everything I needed. I had Cody, I had the dogs, Mom at 1 o'clock, and yeah, it was just great. The only thing we were missing was Sissy.
Yep, that's it. But we called her, which was good.
Yeah.
And, When's the last time that we did Christmas with her? Last year or the year before?
Last year.
Oh, okay. It just, this year felt long, didn't it?
Yeah. It felt long, but also short at the same time.
Exactly. I was just going to say, pretty much April, it just stopped. It's been April for 9 months.
Yeah.
4th of July didn't happen. Thanksgiving, nothing happened after April.
Yeah.
It all just was canceled.
It's all a blur.
So that's why, to me, it didn't feel like Christmas until it did.
Well, and also because Mom wasn't here in the morning.
Yep.
Usually when we all get up, that's when we start breakfast. That's when we get ready to open presents. Well, this year Mom worked until 1 o'clock. So we were literally just kind of hanging out, waiting until...
Because I didn't even cook breakfast.
Yeah,
just Dad did.
Yeah.
Dad did biscuits and gravy. So Christmas didn't start till I started cooking. Because that's the tradition. I make breakfast, or we go... I guess not on Christmas Day, but I cook breakfast, and then we just watch the movies in our pajamas and open presents. So,
well, I think this year was also really special because Mom has had a really rough year, more than us. Because,
she's on the front line.
Yeah, she works at a retirement home, so she got spoiled this year, mostly by Dad, I would say.
Dad killed it.
He really, did, and she just cried, but it was like happy tears.
Good tears.
It was like pure love tears, and so it was really, I would say 100%. A Mom Christmas.
Oh, and
great.
Lindsay did really good too.
Yeah, Lindsay got really appreciated too.
Yeah, the people who needed it or deserved it the most got it, except for Dad. He got big presents, but they were few in number.
That's usually how Dad gets his presents though, because we always get him like something really big that he wants. So like the one year
That's
we got
true.
him the big Craftsman toolbox,
Mm-hmm.
and like that was one of the only presents he had to open.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like because he gets these big huge presents instead of like mom. We like to give her a bunch of little meaningful ones.
Well, one year I went to Target and I went to like the dollar section and I
Mhm.
just grabbed $50 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
And we individually wrapped each one just because
Mhm.
she's like, I just want a bunch of presents.
Yeah.
So I got her those tattoo sleeves,
I
like the
remember.
fake tattoo sleeves and like really cheap slippers. I just was
Mhm.
funny.
Yeah.
And that's what we like to do because you and I, we essentially, what do you want? We pick one gift and then typically that's what we get for each other. Lindsay. Danielle does a lot better with making something sweet.
Mhm.
I usually just spend money.
Mark's really, yeah, you're really good at getting the exact
Mhm.
present that somebody wants. So, like me, I really wanted one of those Cricut machines. It's a crafting machine that literally prints basically everything and cuts stuff. And
It's like a CNC for crafts.
Mhm.
So she can program or just use templates that will cut out shapes, cut out all kinds of crap.
Yeah.
Not engrave.
I don't think it does that.
But I don't know. Look it up. It does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and that's like what I had wanted, and so Mark specifically got that.
Mhm. And then like
and
the
he got
accessory
me
kit.
headphones. Like that was something I wasn't expecting.
Yeah. Well, so when I Amazon around 1 o'clock in the morning, typically I don't remember what I bought until I look at the cart the next day. And I'm like, so when I see stuff and I'm like, man, I really should get Danielle a Christmas present. So I'm just on the couch. Lindsay's had fallen asleep on my shoulder.
Mhm.
Scarlett's on my hip, and I'm like, hey, that's blue. She likes that color. Bye. So yeah, I thought I didn't do very good this year, but turns out I nailed some pretty good presents.
Yeah. I didn't really know what to get you this year because everything you wanted was
Expensive.
super, super expensive.
Yeah, I got expensive taste.
And I can't afford that type of expensive. So I had to kind of just wing it. And Lindsay sent me a list of things you've said over the years that you wanted.
Yes.
And the tow rope was one of them.
So she got me this awesome, really nice, actually, green tow rope.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love the color green for one.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed a tow rope because last time I used one, me and Joe broke it.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Me and Joe touched something and it broke. So Joe's, in case you don't know, Joe's my oldest and best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And we always fuck shit up when we do stuff.
Oh, God. I also got you the coolest shirt ever.
Yeah, man. I cannot wait to put on this shirt. I don't wear clothes until they're washed. It's just how you avoid scabies. So I recommend all you guys don't put clothes on until you wash them. It's disgusting. Think about how many people tried that on with their nastiness. Oh, God. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. And that's why I don't do it. But anyway, it's, what's it say? Chicken Dad?
It says the Chicken Dad, and then says the myth, the man, the legend.
It's amazing. Because I just love my chicken so much. My pond is frozen right now, and it's driving me crazy.
The ducks are so sad.
I've been working on this pond for, months at this point now. And a freeze happened, and I haven't been able to catch up since the freeze.
Yeah.
But today I did seal the bungholes.
On the barrels?
Yeah, the bunghole barrels have been sealed. So now that stuff has to cure for 24 hours. And
are those still frozen, the barrels?
One of them I got thawed out. The other one I'm working on thawing out right now.
Nice.
It's so stupid. Such a pain. But it's worth it. I love my ducks.
Definitely should have either done this before the freeze or waited until.
No, the before would have been great. Before would have been real nice.
Oh,
Because, overnight, that pond will freeze 2 inches.
Yeah.
Like, I go and crack it up with a shovel in the morning, and it's 2 inches thick of ice.
Isn't that crazy?
It's overnight. It's crazy. Because, my pond's probably 1,100 gallons. So it's a decent pond, but it's not enormous.
Yeah, that's how cold it gets overnight.
Yeah. That's wwhy my shit tube froze, too. We just moved the tiny house. I've decided I'm calling it the tiny house now because it's less embarrassing.
Okay.
Because tiny house is hip and cool, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in the original tiny house, the RV. But we moved it to a different place on the land, and it changed where the shade was. Well, changing the shade means that my entire poop tube freezes solid, like the worst ice cube you've ever seen in your life. So not only did we have to fix a lot of stuff for the pond, I have been underneath my RV so much in the last couple weeks.
Yep.
Just right next to a tube full of frozen human
feces
liquids, right?
Gross.
So that's been my couple weeks, but we got it thawed. Wrapped it in insulation, did a whole thing. Finally got everything thawed out. The RV is warm again. Excuse me. The tiny house is warm again, and it's been good. It's been good.
Except for you busted through your vent.
Yes. So let me give you another thing about this piece of shit that is my house. So where my desk is, there's a vent, like a HVAC vent, a heater vent. And my big ass rolls over it with my computer chair a bunch. And because of that, it can't take it. It's too much for the little guy.
Completely dented in.
So essentially what I've been doing is it went from being a flat piece of metal to a bowl-shaped piece of metal to a piece of metal with a hole in it. So on the day that I was fixing this, I was replacing it with a piece of wood. I was taking a break and I was sitting in my computer chair and I rolled backwards doing what I naturally do, forgetting I had taken the vent off, and I essentially just fell.
Your wheel went in.
Yeah,
there,
my
right?
wheel went into the open vent hole and punched a hole through the vent with the wheel of the chair.
I didn't know that part.
So I rolled out fine. I did the old, feet over the head roll out of the back of my computer chair because I knew I was going into the hole and I knew that a puncture was imminent. So I did everything I could to try to get my body weight off of the chair so it wouldn't punch through the whole RV.
Yeah.
Because 240 pounds on a single point that's only an inch and a half big, that's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. So luckily I only punched through the vent hole and now it's covered with a piece of wood and whatever.
And now the wheel gets caught on it all the time.
Yep, because it's like an inch thick piece of wood. I hate this thing so much. The next tiny house is in works.
Getting closer.
And it's going to be so much better.
Yeah.
It's going to
really
be
is.
so much better.
It's going to be insulated.
Yeah. I won't have to wear parkas to bed or sleep in a ice bath.
You don't have to
during
fill
the
up
summer.
your water.
Yeah, no more poop tube.
No
more poop tube. The poop tube will not be part of my life anymore. And that's why I know it's just going to fight me to the very end.
Oh, yeah.
So I've gone henceforth. It's been, henceforth is future. Henceforth, I am your king. Yeah. So whatever the opposite of henceforth is, I have yet to been hit by any poop water. I have been.
You better knock on wood.
It's been about 5 years at least, that I have been living in the tiny house and draining my poop.
You know what I just picture? I picture it spilling on you and just.
Oh no! I would just run into the lake and never leave ever. There's not enough soap in the world, but I just feel because of karma, just because the universe likes to keep me humble. It's going to be the last day. Like when I go to disconnect it for the last time. Mm-hmm. For some reason, there's going to be a
burp.
100 PSI air pocket just chilling, waiting for me to break that vacuum. And it's just going to... I'm telling you right now, I've gone 5 years without getting hit, but that means I'm due for a catastrophe. Catastrophe, right?
Yeah. That would be awful.
There's very little.
That happened on that movie RV.
That's so fun. It's basic hydraulics, man. You just got to lift it higher.
Yeah.
Turn it off. Yeah, it's so we use chemicals and stuff. So really it just comes out blue.
Does it?
It does. It comes
Oh.
out blue, so it's not like this brown sludge of doom and just the
Dookie.
worst possible thing you could ever imagine.
my
It's just kind of
God.
blue
Dookie.
porta potty water, I would say.
Is
But
it
like
the same
clean.
chemical?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. So it's just that really hyper, that smell of that just chemical clean, that's dirty
Like
clean.
chemical poo.
Chemical poo. But that's the name of the episode, I'm pretty sure.
Chemical dookie.
So, and there's an art to it, though. You know what a lot of people screw up?
What?
Is they leave their black, it's called your black tank, right? Because it's the black portal to hell, right? So they leave their black tank valve open, so all the liquids drain out, but all the solids build up like a mountain. And what happens is it dries out. So you have a dry pile of poop inside of your black tank that makes it get clogged up so that you go to it, you just can't use it anymore. Isn't that the worst thing ever? So what you got to do is you leave the valve closed so that the liquid outweighs the solids. And then when you open that poop chute, it just launches out in one torpedo of insanity.
This is the worst conversation I think I've ever had.
Yeah. This is my life. I have to do that every, short amount of time. Because you got to stay on top of it. You got to take care of your shit.
Literally.
Oh, yeah. I see what you did there.
Literally.
Yeah.
You wrote recycling on here. I want to know what you mean by that.
So, I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious. We're recycling.
Oh, is that what that's
Yeah,
what that's
look how
about?
much effort we've put into recycling. And then I would say the effort is now being rewarded with it's easy to do.
For the most part, there's a huge pile of boxes and stuff I have to go through now.
Well, Christmas is the exception.
It's a train of boxes and wrapping paper and plastic.
It's amazing. Lindsay will help you.
You will help too.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Mark.
Well, because essentially what we did, so in the RV, the setup is we have the small trash can and a big recycle. That's not how it started, though. It was flipped before.
Well, yeah.
We had the small recycle and the big trash because we didn't know yet. We didn't know what you could recycle. We didn't know how. We thought it'd be hard, so we didn't do it.
Nice.
And then nice. So once we did the research and figured it out and made a nice system, now we have a small trash can for the things you can't recycle. And then the big thing, and all Lindsay does is when the big one gets full, she just takes it out to our next step. I guess it sounds like a lot when you do that. But after it's set up, it's not. To the next thing, which is the 3 big cans where she then just sorts it out.
Separates it, yeah.
And then we reuse the plastic bag, the trash bag, in the recycle again.
See, our setup's easier because I bought a 3-section trash can.
Yep.
So then instead of having to put it all in one and then sort it out later, you put the aluminum and the plastic and the paper or cardboard or whatever in those 3 individual ones. And then you literally, when it gets full, just walk out, dump it into the big one, put it right back in.
It's amazing. And then setting all that up was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Right? It took over a month, I would say, before we finally got a system that is usable. But now that we do, oh, man.
Well, we also had to figure out, because there's like different types of paper and
There
like
is.
cardboard. So there's
Cardboard.
cardboard. There's corrugated cardboard. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's the one that has like the ribs in it.
So that is its own bin, and then there's there's other cardboard, but it's like the cardboard paper.
Yeah, that's where it's rolled out. It's almost the same way they make money.
Oh.
Or not money. I
Well,
meant
it's like the
blue
boxes
jeans,
for like
denim.
frozen.
Yeah, or like cereal
stuff.
boxes.
Yeah.
Or
all that.
literally anything you get off the racks. Shelves is the word I'm looking for. I just kind of went in low power mode there for a while. Do you remember that time we were driving? But anyway, recycling's good. You should do it. Do you remember that time that we were driving to Brandy's and my truck went into low power mode with Grandma? Were you there with us?
No.
It was me, Grandma, the kid that she
Eli?
brought from Illinois.
Oh, Michael.
Is his name Michael?
Yeah, our cousin Michael.
Cousin Michael.
No, I wasn't there.
And it must have been Lindsay. But anyway, we were driving, towing the RV.
Oh, yeah, I rode with Cody.
Yeah, and my truck went into like, we're not going over 15 miles an hour mode. It's like low power mode if something's wrong so you don't break your truck.
What?
It was awful. We had to pull over. Huh?
Which truck
Dodge?
was it? Oh. No, I think it was your Chevy.
It was the Chevy. Hasn't done it since, but I also haven't hauled 40-foot trailer up a mountain recently either.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, so basically, after doing research, I learned that it's a safety feature so you don't blow up your engine. So if your engine senses that something really bad is happening, it doesn't make it so you're stranded. So you can still limp to where you're going, limp mode basically.
Wow.
You can still limp to where you're going, but you
At a very slow
like
pace.
10 miles an hour, 15 miles. It's ridiculous. And it just, full throttle, doesn't matter. You're going this fast.
You did that the whole way there?
No, so you pull over and you turn off your truck for a minute and then you start it back up and you can go again.
Weird.
And I'll tell you what, as much as I appreciate it trying to not blow up my engine, that is, when you're in the mountains hauling a trailer uphill, that is horrifying.
Yeah, I bet.
Because you're thinking, okay, is my transmission about to overheat? I mean, I'm going uphill right now, just chugging, barely along. And you just start wondering, what is this going to break? And Grandma is just sitting right next to me.
Oh, I bet, just freaking out.
So that was a fun trip. Yeah. But I mean, the funny part is I didn't fix anything.
You just turned it out. You just flipped the power cord.
Well,
or whatever it's
pulled
called.
over when it was safe. So we got down the mountain, or over the pass is what we were doing. Got over the pass, got to a flat spot, pulled over, and then I started researching. Well, because like, what else am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I just started reading about what I was reading, the codes, and what the truck was saying.
Yeah.
And gained all the information that I just told you. And then I read, somebody said, well, I've had success where either I disconnect my battery or if I just turn it off, leave it, and then turn it back on, it'll be fine. So that's what I did. And we only had to do it one more time on the way there. I don't think we had to do it at all on the way back because I was being very attentive to how I was driving the truck.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to put some ass in this thing at all. I'm going to drive like an old, safe man so that my truck doesn't go into pussy mode and can't get up this mountain again.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That kind of stuff always happens to me.
That part hasn't happened to me, but one time in Cody's old Chevy, we were driving to where he used to live, and all of a sudden, all of his lights turned off, the radio turned off. The car was still running, but nothing else was working at all, and it was nighttime, and so we had no lights whatsoever. We actually got right up to 402, right up the road from us, and we were like,
but the engine
the truck
was still
going, so his alternator, whatever, like one of the main hookups
Terminals,
was, I don't think it was on all the way. And it was like, we were just kind of sitting there listening to music. All of a sudden, it was like your power went out in your house, but the engine was still going. And Cody, the light was all red. And so he was like, shit, I can't stop because what if this thing dies? Like, we're right here. So he just kind of went on through.
just like, hey guys, I can't stop. I'm driving through.
So then we pulled into, and then he lifted the thing and it was barely on there. So then he just put it back on and started right back up.
That's so funny because the alternator does two different things, right? It runs your engine while it's on, but it also charges your battery.
So I think it was just running off of the battery, but just barely. That's why nothing else was on.
I would say it's the opposite.
Oh yeah, that's right. Just running off the alternator.
It was running off the alternator because the part of the alternator that just feeds the ignition and that stuff doesn't go to your lights. It doesn't care about any of that. That mostly comes off the battery. So that's funny because that happened once. So Joe, believe it or not, he used to drive this Firebird. Oh, I don't know if you ever saw that thing. It was a beautiful Firebird.
I don't remember that.
It was the T-top. You could take the top.
Really?
Thing was primo. Bright red interior, like the brightest red interior you could imagine. It was so much fun.
Why did you get rid of it?
It wasn't his.
Oh.
Yeah, he just had access to it
Nice.
through family. Or no, I don't know. I'll have to ask him. Maybe it was his, but he kind of was forced to sell it. I don't know. Something happened. Joe will know. That's why he's going to write my memoirs. What was I saying?
Firebird.
About the Firebird. Yeah, so one day, it must have been after school or after the liquor store robbery, I don't know, but we got to his house and the same stuff happened. We couldn't, no, none of the same stuff happened. We couldn't turn off his car. Like, we turned off the ignition, pulled out the key.
And it's still going.
It just was running. It wouldn't turn off. And here's the fun part. We're like, okay, we'll just disconnect the battery. So we disconnected the battery, and it still was running. So I'm like, what the hell? I was like, we have to disconnect the alternator.
Alternator.
And disconnecting the alternator while an engine is running is intimidating.
Yeah, I bet.
You got the belt right in front of it. It's just a lot. So we did ultimately get it disconnected, and it just was like, and then it turned off.
Weird.
But mind of its own.
That's crazy. One time.
Today on Story Time with the Gibbs.
One time in Cody's old Chevy, we went out to Cabela's at the new one, and we got out of the truck and walked inside and did our shopping, whatever, came back out, walked up to the Chevy, and it was running, and all the doors were locked. So
it was running?
Cody left the truck running, and when we got out, he locked it, and yeah, so the whole time we were shopping, it was running, and then we had to call his sister, and she had to drive all the way out to Cabela's and bring us this
while it was running.
Yeah. So
That's
we were just sitting on the tailgate for like 45 minutes with the truck just running, idling.
Just burning gas, no big deal.
Yeah.
That happened to me one time. So, do you remember the old Buick?
Yeah,
the red Buick?
Yeah, of course I do.
Remember how that bitch
That was my first car.
It had automatic locking doors?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that happened to me. Whatever I was doing, I don't know, overthrowing a government. I closed the door, and I went to open it, and I'm like, are you kidding me? So I had to call a locksmith.
Oh my God.
Because I'm pretty sure I was in Texas.
Yeah.
So it's not like I could be like,
probably
hey,
had the spare.
come bring me the spare. So I just had to sit there while the locksmith came, who completely dragged his ass to get there. He was in no rush. I think I did something because he took so long. I'm pretty sure in an hour and a half, I just broke into it. Like, I didn't break a window.
Is that
or
why
anything.
the door was all jacked up?
Probably. I just remember, I was like, get out of here. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I mean, it happens. It happens to the best of us.
I've only ever locked my keys in my car one time. And it was when I was in downtown Fort Collins doing a consultation for my tattoo. And it was when I was driving Sissy's old 4Runner.
Oh, that thing.
And the
was sweet.
window was cracked about this, like, okay, so you can't
just
see
enough
this,
to
but
tease you.
yeah, pretty much. Like
an inch and
nobody
a
could,
half.
like you could get your hand through, but you couldn't go down. And so Jessie, our cousin, was with us at the time, and she she was literally like a centimeter away from
little Miss Skinny Arms.
that damn lock, because it was one of the ones you just can pull right up.
Okay, yeah.
But she couldn't get it far enough, and so Mom had to drive all the way out there to bring us the key.
Because you couldn't like get.
No.
Oh, it was
we
a pull-up
tried.
lock, like
Yeah.
no pliers or needle nose or
we
anything.
had nothing.
You couldn't go into the tattoo shop and ask them.
I don't think
Hey, you
we
guys
tried.
got a toolbox?
We didn't try that. But yeah, that's the one and only time I've ever locked my keys in the car.
Have you ever ran out of gas?
Nope.
Dude,
I learned from you and Sissy. That's an awful feeling. I'll never do it.
I used to run out of gas all the time.
No, I don't allow it.
All the time. Because I would push it as far as possible.
You still do.
No, I don't.
Every time I get in your damn truck, that gas light's on.
You sound like Lindsay.
I know.
I fill up to full every time.
So do I.
And then I go to empty every time.
Gas light empty, like you have to drive to the gas station and hope that you make it.
That is very true. And I always do. Because what I do is every time I fill up, I reset the mileage. Do
Yeah,
you
so
do
do
that?
I.
You're welcome, because I told you to do that. Because then you know. So you have to run out of gas once so you know how far you can go.
I've never ran out of gas ever.
I don't know.
I've never been stranded on the side of the road. Nothing.
Yes,
Never.
you have. When you rolled that bitch.
Okay, that's a car accident.
I've been stranded. No, you've never had a flat tire?
No, I had that one, but I was close enough to work that I could get there. I had a key in my tire. Remember that? That just recently happened.
Have broken my truck like twice, and I've had to come get you. What do you mean you've never been stranded?
I wasn't like off the side of the road though. I was somewhere.
That's true. You're at the gas station when you broke my Dodge.
I didn't break it. That thing broke itself and was pouring diesel fluid or diesel gasoline out of the or whatever the hell.
It was out of the high pressure line. So on diesels, they work off of compression.
Yeah.
So if you want compression and heat, you need high pressure, right? And so on the diesel, it's called a high pressure line.
It's this tiny little thing, super tiny,
and it's a stainless steel line. I'm not sure how much psi, but it's a good amount.
Yeah.
And if that line pops, it's essentially just shooting out high pressure diesel fuel,
pouring it out of the bottom.
At an extremely fast rate.
And it was just me driving your damn diesel for some stupid reason. I don't remember why. Probably because the Jeep was broken.
Which also runs great until you touched it.
I had just filled that bitch up with gas to return it to you. And I'm standing there filling it up. This dude walks up next to me and he's all, "Hey, there's a bunch of liquid pouring out of the bottom of your truck." And I'm like, "This ain't my truck." And I'm sure he's like, "Oh, look at this dumb blonde bimbo driving this big old diesel thinking she's all fucking cool and whatnot." And I'm like, "Okay, what is it?" And he's like, he didn't know. He was like, "Oh, it's something." And I don't know the smell of diesel. I know the smell of gasoline. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay. So then I call Mark and he's coming down there. Well, the clerk that works there is trying to tell me that I have to move the truck, but I can't start the truck. And it was like this whole thing. I was like, "So what do you want me to do?" Like, for one, I cannot push this by myself.
Yeah.
For two, if I can't start the truck, how am I going to move it? It was so annoying.
Oh my God. Yeah, she was a pain in the ass too. Because I remember when I got there, I essentially told her to just go away. Because she was being so dumb. She's like, "I need to free up this pump." I'm like, "I get you, lady. I can't move this. Give me a second."
Well, she also didn't want us to move it because she thought that it was going to ignite, but it was diesel. Again. It was a whole thing. So eventually, we were able to push it out of the way.
Because someone came and helped us, remember?
And then figured out what to do.
Yeah, another diesel person came up and... Because I was trying to move it for her. Regardless of her just not shutting up. I was like, "I am trying to help you. I'm going to slow down if you don't shut up." Because essentially either I try to fix this now or I sit here and I wait for a tow truck.
Yeah.
So shut up.
You can't just move a ginormous truck.
Do you know how much this truck weighs? It takes multiple people to move it.
Yeah, and she expected me by myself. I was like, all right,
so ultimately,
push.
The nice thing is what I had to fix, you just buy and replace. Yep. Unscrew, replace. Right. So that was quick. But it doesn't change the fact that it never broke until you drove it one time.
I think I just have bad luck.
So what else did you break on my trucks? Let's really paint a picture for the people on why I'm not joking.
One time I was driving it to work. I don't know why I drove that thing. So I really think it's because the Jeep wasn't working.
I thought it was for the 4-wheel drive.
No, because the Jeep is all-wheel drive.
Oh, that's true.
No, I
was
honestly
broken.
think something was with the Jeep. But I was driving it to work one time, and this is when the transmission was starting to go out, because I went to turn, and all of a sudden, it just wasn't moving.
My truck is
It was making all the noise of moving, but it was not moving. And so I took a right, and, you hit the gas to keep going on the road, and so it's like, but nothing's happening. And I'm like, okay, like, what? What do I do? And all of a sudden it went clunk, clunk, and then it was going.
Slammed in a gear.
So then I was like, okay, oh God, here we go. So I called Mark. "Hey, this just happened. It's working fine now, but it wasn't driving for a good 45 seconds.
And I just go, "Of course it wasn't."
So then I got it to work, and then it did the same thing on the way home. And then you got in the truck and drove it all around, and it didn't happen. But that's essentially the reason why you ended up getting rid of it. because the transmission
so
was
after
going out.
rebuilding the transmission, the front end started going out.
Yeah.
That truck, so my Dodge, the
oh my
engine,
God, it used to drive and
I
like,
loved that
throw
truck.
you all around.
It was a beast. It was powerful. It was
Mhm.
fast. It was a nice truck, except for the fact that it was a complete piece of shit. Everything broke on that truck. I replaced all the fuel injectors. I replaced the transmission. Well, I repaired the transmission. I did a lot on the front end. I did a lot to that back end. It just was a pain. It was a complete piece of shit. The engine was solid. Everything else about that truck was a piece of shit.
I have another story. One time
About
I was,
something you broke on
no,
my...
the same truck. One time I was driving it home from work and there was the middle of a blizzard and I rolled my car a few years ago and it pretty much
She's got some
scarred
PTSD.
me, yeah, from driving in the snow. Not so much anymore now that the cars that I have, but at the time I was driving Mark's piece of shit Dodge. Blizzard. I couldn't see anything.
White out conditions.
And I could not get it in 4-wheel drive. Well, I don't know if you've ever driven a truck in the snow that's not in 4-wheel drive. It literally does this.
Oh,
like
yeah.
a fish. You're
Fish
like a
tail.
fish down the freaking
You'd
road.
be better off being in a car, honestly.
So I couldn't even go more than 5 miles an hour without it just flying all over the place. And so I'm shot with anxiety. Like, oh God, here we go. Especially because I decided to take the back roads, which is, there's no lights. It's dark.
And windy on the back.
Yeah, and it's really hilly and there's no pull-offs. It's literally just ditches on both sides. Well, I finally got to the point where like my anxiety just overpowered me and I had to call mom. And of course, you call your mom the moment you hear her voice. Waterworks start flying and mom is screaming at me, Danielle, pull over! And I'm like, I can't
just
pull over!
completely adding to the energy level and anxiety of
I
it.
couldn't pull over because there was literally no pullover.
There's a ditch.
There's ditches. I'm wearing a cardigan, not a pullover.
It's a cardigan. Thanks for asking.
Oh my gosh. And it was to the mom and dad literally had to come get me.
My little sister, everybody.
That's not a problem, but it wouldn't go into 4-wheel drive.
Hey, and yet, did it go in 4-wheel drive when I did it?
I don't know.
It used to before she touched it.
But now I have my RAV4 and it's all-wheel drive and it's amazing in the snow.
Well, we got any more car stories? Or I think we hit that mark.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's it. Oh! Supernatural ended.
Yeah.
Not to spoil anything at all.
Tune
but
in next time.
Just be prepared.
Oh, God. That's sad.
I would say because they had to do it during COVID, and you can tell. You can tell all the actors are all 6 feet apart. Like,
Really?
They did a really good job with, I guarantee, like what they had to deal with.
What they could
I bet.
do.
Yeah, it was good though. I highly recommend it. Watch it.
So, let's see. Well, I think we got there. What the hell did we talk about?
Christmas.
Christmas time.
Cars.
is here. Lots of car stories. We talked about all the times Danielle broke my stuff. Because really, she kind of, you know, King Midas. Ming Mo, King Midas. Do you know King Midas?
I don't.
So the story of King Midas?
No.
So King Midas was a king named Midas who loved gold.
Okay.
Right?
I love gold.
He loves gold. So what King Midas did is, I can't remember if it was a curse or if he requested it, but essentially anything that King Midas touched turned to gold.
Okay.
Okay. And including his wife. And then at first he loved it. He was just like, I'm the richest man in the world. Like he gave all of his army gold armor. And the commander was like, well, sir, you know, the problem with gold is it's heavy and soft.
Yeah.
So his army was killed. And then he turned, you know, all of his riches into gold, like his whole castle, his whole kingdom. Well, the village, like, started chipping off pieces of his castle. And then because his village was wealthy, or he gave his whole village gold, one or the other, but nobody worshipped him as a king anymore. And then to top it off, he couldn't eat. Every food that he touched turned to gold. And
so he died.
So he died from starvation. And it's just a cautionary tale of greed. Like, don't put your obsessive want to gain more, be it power, money, women, men, drug, that cannot consume your life because you will inevitably lose everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's King Midas.
Okay. And
Why did I bring it up?
yeah, I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. It was a great story.
Well, I just want to thank you guys for being here. I feel like this was a good one because we started with that, we ended with Midas, and in the middle, we just told a bunch of stupid stories about Danielle breaking my stuff.
Yeah.
So, anything else?
The only thing I thought of was that time. It's the last story.
Okay.
That time when we were redoing the garage for Dad.
Yeah.
And you bought that paint.
Oh my God. Yeah. Go ahead. Tell the people. Unless you want me to.
So Mark bought a paint gun
Like a spray gun.
Yeah,
Like
to make it easier to paint the garage. And every time Mark used it, it worked perfectly fine. Well, it was making his arm tired, so I was like, okay, I'll take a turn. And literally, I did the same exact movements and everything that Mark did. I made sure of it. I literally watched and did everything that he did, and every single time I used it, it clogged.
Every time. Okay, let me paint you a picture. Okay, we have been working on this garage. It's a surprise for Dad. We have been working on this for 2 days at this point.
In like 20-degree weather.
And 18-hour days. Like we started
the moment
early
they left
and ended late.
Yeah.
So it was freezing. I had been painting for hours at this point. No problem. Not an ounce of issue. I give it to Little Miss Thing within the first 5 minutes. I'm not even kidding. My arm isn't even by my side yet. Mark, it's not working. That's why I brought up Midas, because you got the golden touch. You break or kill everything you touch.
I haven't killed anything. Breaking is a different story.
How many of those chicken eggs did you touch that didn't make it?
How many of them did make it that I touched?
1%.
No. We got like
20%.
a lot of chickens and ducks out of it. We got all the ducks out of it except for Ivory and Ebenezer.
Well, no, we did how many ducks, and we only got 2 of 6? How many duck eggs did we
No,
incubate?
because we had the twins.
We only did 2?
Wait, no, the twins were with Big Head and Ivory.
No.
Shit.
Evelyn.
Evelyn.
We're talking about ducks, people.
Yeah. I don't know. I think only the 2 ducks made it, but then there was
6.
the 3 chickens, and then because we had Carl, Salt and Peppa, and then Chrissy, but Chrissy, R.I.P.
Yeah, rip dude.
Yeah, and then the boys, Sam and Dean.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 5,
Cool
6,
story.
7, 8, 9 birds. 2 peacocks, 1 peacock.
Oh my gosh! So next year we're raising a turkey for
Oh.
Thanksgiving. So we'll probably get a turkey in the spring, fatten that bitch up for the next 6 months or 4 months, and then have us a tasty bird. Oh,
better
I
make
guess
it like the turkey you made last night. 'Cause
Yeah.
that was the best. I don't not like turkey a lot. It's really not my fave.
Mhm.
That turkey last night was thebomb.com.
So I did a dry brine, dry aged roasted turkey.
It was amazing.
It was super good.
It was one of the biggest turkeys I've ever seen.
24 or 20 pounds. Ideally, you don't really want to get a turkey that's over 15 pounds. After
Huge.
that, it's so big that it dries out before it's done. So smaller turkeys are better, but we only had one option.
But it turned out great.
I spatchcocked it,
Spatchcock.
which is a fancy word for I butterflied it. It was so good. No
Yeah.
complaints.
Not at all.
Turned out super yum.
Yep.
So as always,
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
yep. Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Ninja Bobby, bye.
That's an abrupt ending.
It's fine.
Sorry.